The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey!
Joined for, Jesus, 14, 15, 16, 17, and now 18.
We've been doing this podcast for like 5 years.
And I still don't know how to silence my fucking phone.
You unprofessional bent.
That's me.
Ripped in pieces.
Yeah, that was 2018, wasn't it? This is the Year in Review podcast. We're not going to dwell on that shit because we lost a lot of wonderful, beautiful people in 2018.
And we ain't got time for that.
They ain't got time to make
Two Nerds
a
Podcast
profile.
is a positive place.
Yes.
And what's more, 2018, and this is a fucking rare treat to say, was a pretty good fucking year.
Yeah, like, I listened to the 2016, parts of the 2016 and the 2017 podcast today, just to catch up, because I totally didn't write down the categories last year, so I had to fucking listen again. And we literally begin both of them a little funeral dirgy.
Because those weren't good years. And look, the Two Nerds Podcast is a positive place. We try and focus on the positive. And at the very least, regardless of any other factors, in my personal life, 2018 was a really good fucking year.
Yeah, I had a good time. Good year for media. Just
Good year for
stuff all
media,
around.
good year for my home life, good year for just me. Separate the rest of the world, I had a good 2018, and I'm not willing to apologize for it.
Who would make you apologize for having a good time? Fuck them. And tell them to subscribe to our show.
We need the subscribers. So,
We don't. This doesn't make me any money.
yeah, but then more people I will be able to convince myself that people care what I think.
Aw, yeah. All 60 is Ultimo Dragon.
I appreciate each and every one of you quite dearly.
So, yes, it is that time again where we do sort of a fake shitty award show about the things we enjoyed the year prior. Not things that came out specifically within the year prior, just things we enjoyed in the year prior.
Yeah. This is not a what was the best of that came out this year. No.
Because I tell you guys what, there's a fucking best video game category, and your Gods of War, your Spider-Man, your Red's Dead's Redemptions are not on there because we didn't play those games in 2018.
Nope. So that is what it is. Look, the Two Nerds Podcast isn't about what's hot or new. If it was, we'd have more views and subscribers. The Two Nerds Podcast is about me and this motherfucker here and what moves us. What we like, what gets us going, that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're interested, here we are.
Hello.
All right, so let's start it up. I
Yeah.
believe the first category is, what are we doing first?
I mean, ironically, favorite video game.
Okay.
All right. So what was your favorite video game of 2018? And do you have any honorable mentions?
My favorite video game of 2018. That is a really hard thing. I played a lot of really good video games this year. It was a good year for media. You're gonna hear me say this was a hard choice a lot. But I think you and I end up agreeing. You and I ended up with the same thing on this list, and the same thing in the honorable mentions.
Really? That's very interesting.
First up, my favorite game of the year is Watch Dogs 2.
I have to agree.
And because it's the game I spent the most time with this year. I don't think that's disputable. That is to say, 2018. And I got lost into a shuffle there, remembering playing Watch Dogs 2.
Right. I think the best way to put it, and since we both share this game as our favorite, I don't mind just jumping in here. Even though I didn't quite finish it, I feel like the cultural impact it had on the two of us was stronger than any other game we played this year. Now, we have honorable mentions each, I'm sure, and we played those games a lot, probably more than Watch Dogs, some of them, and they might be better games, even to us. But
Watch Dogs 2 was a shift in the household.
Yeah.
It's a thing we mentioned. It's a thing that formed our opinions, we went on to talk about with each other, that went on to inform how we saw things going forward. Watch Dogs 2 is a really good game with really good design. I beat it. He didn't quite.
I will. I picked it up a couple months ago.
It's an open world game. He's cursed to never finish them.
And then I got a Switch.
He angered a Faye at one point. I actually didn't have Watch Dogs 2 written down.
Didn't you?
No, I wrote down my honorable mention because, like, I couldn't decide between it and Watch Dogs, and then I saw your list and saw you had Watch Dogs, and I was like, you know what, he's right. But my honorable mention, I have the one honorable mention, he has a couple more, is Smash Brothers. I've played a lot of Smash Brothers, and it didn't come out, it came out pretty late into 2018.
It was in December.
And I've played many hours of Smash Brothers on a big couch with all my friends. I love couch co-op games. I love Smash Brothers games. And this is a fun, well-made Smash Brothers game. I don't want to say fighting game because they're different to me. They exist to do different things.
Arena fighter? No, that's not it. There's a different word for it. But anyway, yeah, I agree. And I feel like this is a really solid Smash game. I find it an honorable mention despite the fact that they changed literally all of my characters in ways I don't like.
Yep. They actually gave one of his actual main to me because they changed half his moveset into my main's moveset. So
I still use him a lot and I'm really good with him, but I'm not happy about it. Also his face. Let that boy grow a beard.
No.
My other honorable mentions were WWE 2K19 because it's the best entry in the franchise, and not just because it's a new year. They just finally got...
They've improved a lot.
Yeah.
The only thing keeping it off an honorable mentions list for me is a thing that isn't their fault. But it's going to keep it off the honorable mentions list for me anyway, because give me fucking entrance themes. Give me the ability to set my own entrance themes, and your game would be perfect.
And then also on my list for honorable mentions, and probably should have been my favorite game of the year, because I beat it 3 times this year, was Dark Souls 3. But that was my favorite game last year. I'm not going to do that.
No. New Shine, 2018, glow up. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Moving on?
Moving on, I think.
Favorite movie? Do we share this one? Is this another joint presentation?
No,
okay.
This was, we've swapped.
We've swapped.
Yeah. My favorite movie this year was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Aha.
And this was a hard call. Because I watched some good damn movies this year. Including the thing White picked, which I'm not going to steal because he picked it, so he gets to go on about it first. Including, eventually, I grew to really like Avengers, Infinity War, and Deadpool 2. And a bunch of other...
I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that was this year. It was good.
It was good. But, like, at the end of the day... One of these movies almost made me cry, and it wasn't Deadpool 2, man.
You weren't touched when he came in through the back door? Or by the song about the Juggernaut?
I was touched by the song about the Juggernaut, but in a different way.
Did you have any other honorable mentions?
I could just go through the list of all the movies I watched this year and edit out all the shit ones, but...
I must say I'm a little surprised you didn't wedge Aquaman in there.
Aquaman was fun and goofy, and I love it, but it was not one of my favorite movies this year.
That's kind of how I feel about Deadpool. Probably like as strongly as you do about Aquaman is how strongly I feel about Deadpool being fun, but I had a tough time. I had 3 that I was trying to pick from pretty much all day while I was at work trying to figure this out, because of course we wait until the last minute. Into the Spider-Verse was definitely one of my honorable mentions. And with the flip of a coin, it could have been my favorite of the year. But, like, part of it is like, well, I just saw that film. So, like, a little bit of that is that shine on the apple.
Yeah, you're being harsh on it because of the shine.
Maybe a little bit. But it's also, like, there was stuff about it that I didn't jive with that much. I don't know how much I immediately want to see it again, you know. It was beautiful, but was it a story I wanted to see then or what? You know, there's a lot of things about it.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Not perfect.
No. And I also want to mention Solo, A Star Wars Story, because...
I didn't like this one as much as you.
No, but I really had a great experience watching it.
I'm glad, dude.
Yeah. But my movie of the year was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Which would be on my honorable mentions list. Because, boy howdy, was it a close call at the end.
Yeah, it was a good film. Like, maybe not the most factually correct thing in the world, but...
I don't care. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Good movie. Fantastic performance.
Rami Malek is startling in how good of an actor he is.
Whatever awards just happened, he won one for it.
Good.
And so did Into the Spider-Verse. So,
Good.
You know. Anything else to say, my friend?
No, I think we'll move on.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's roll to favorite TV and/or web show. This one was a hard, long debate for me until I realized what I did in 2018.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been hard. If you hadn't picked what you did pick,
I would have slapped me.
I would have absolutely told you to. I would have wrong. That is not your favorite thing in 2018. I would have corrected you because there's only one pick. You go first.
Yeah, BoJack Horseman. I've never watched a show faster.
No.
Period.
I've known this guy my entire adult life. I've never seen him consume any non-interactive media at the speed he consumed BoJack Horseman.
Which is kind of interactive media because, like, Raphael, Bob, Waksberg, I can never remember how your consonants go. It lives in my head and steals my life and puts it into a horse show. So... I did have honorable mentions in what I've been watching on YouTube. I actually have been watching less and less YouTube as time goes on, which is interesting. Just things are kind of falling out of my
that's interesting.
profile. But Beard Bros, that is to say The Completionist and Alex Fasciani. Longmire, I finally finished that. It's worth mentioning that last season was great. Pro Jared's great. The Runaways on Hulu. Very surprised that was a good show. That came in at the end of the year.
I still don't believe him, by the way.
That's fine. And I didn't write it down here on my honorable mentions, but it bears mentioning Luke Cage Season 2 and WebDM are two things that really shone out this year as well. But what about you, my friend? What was your TV and or web show of 2018, and will we fight?
I don't think we'll fight.
Okay.
My TV show of 2018 isn't close. I have some honorable mentions. Daredevil Season 3, Luke Cage Season 2, good ass things. I think I might end up putting The Punisher on there, but I actually watched The Punisher in 2017. But yeah. Aside from those honorable mentions, there's absolutely no contest. It's My Hero Academia.
You did finish that, like, shotgun it.
I started watching it this year. Early this year, we started watching it, together. And he has a hard time watching anime, and eventually I just couldn't wait anymore. So I got, I may have actually watched it in January? No, I think I watched it in December, didn't I?
No, like the tail end of December, because that's when I started The Runaways.
Yeah.
Was in the tail end of December.
I may have watched it in January, but whatever, I'm counting it. My Hero Academia. Even if I caught it the very last little bit of the year, it doesn't matter. Because it's absolutely my favorite show recently.
Well, you're right. We did start it in, August or something, so...
Yeah. I like shonen, but I'm old enough now that I'm a little too old to enjoy most of it. Not this. This is a really good it's just a really good television show.
I liked it a lot, too.
If you don't mind subtitles and you have any fondness for superheroics as a genre, watch it. It's good.
Yeah, I think that's our favorite TV and or web show. We're trucking through this one, but just you wait, listener. There might be a little morsel of surprise at the end. What about your favorite RPG character you played? Now, we do expand this to play-by-post role-playing of its various stripes, quest threads, and e-feds, which I don't think either of us were in an e-fed this year. And we do expand this as well to NPCs, because some of us DM an awful lot.
That'd be me.
But I went first on the last one, so please, why don't you go first on here? What was the favorite RPG character you played this year?
Grawl. So it's an NPC in a game I DM. It is a setting that I've stolen. Basically, the whole premise of the setting is there are many fantasy fiction stories I enjoy. I'm stealing all the good things I like about them from all of them and smashing them together in a way that makes rough kind of sense. I don't really press too much about it making perfect sense because I don't care. It's about having a fun D&D setting.
And it works.
And I'm not planning on publishing this, so I don't care. Grawl is a grumpy old canim from Codex Alera, one of Jim Butcher's joints. And he's a grumpy old canim grandpa who has morphed into a mimetic... A wonderful meme in my campaign. He's fun to play. I get to be a grumpy old grandpa and dispense wisdom, and he's fun fun to play mechanically because he's a cleric in 5th edition and he's pretty high level.
Yeah, and he's got some like custom class features that make him really cool.
Based on the stuff that Ritualist can do in the Codex Alera.
Yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions there?
I didn't play a wealth of characters for long in 2018.
No.
I played a bunch of characters for a really short time frame, and there is one character who, at the very tail end of 2018, I started a campaign that I'm a player, but I didn't play many characters. And of the NPCs I played, Grawl is probably my favorite, aside from getting the opportunity to pretend to be Dresden Files characters.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't... Grawl is a character I made up using pieces from someone else's work. I just straight up stole Johnny Marcone, so like I don't think I'm allowed to count him.
And it's interesting because I am totally counting something where I literally just stole somebody, but I made them my own. Those are honorable mentions. Those being the character I'm playing right now, Asterion. What a long fucking story to explain this guy.
Not really.
Okay, then you do it.
He's an Australian diesel punk cleric of, at this point, Vaporwave.
Accidentally. And then I'm running a quest thread at a website where quest threads are. If you know my handle, you can find me. And it's a Marvel quest thread. And I had the opportunity to play Quentin Quire, Kid Omega, as not a complete jackknob. And it's gone really well. Like, he's really fun to write for. I always relish the opportunity, even if it's just a little line of dialogue or some action he's doing in the background or something. I really enjoy writing him, and I find that very interesting. But my absolute favorite, whom we've talked about before this year on this podcast, is Xanthos, my cleric of Conquest, or my paladin, of Conquest, who is a tiefling. He marks a big point for me because I had been struggling with making D&D characters for years.
And yeah, Xanthos was the wall. Like
he was the turning point.
He just broke through the dam, and you've had oodles of D&D characters ever since.
And I herald him as both quality in that regard, and then I always had fun playing him. Even when I was doing nothing, literally nothing, I was having a great time. So, yeah. I've got to count him for that one. All right, this one's interesting. The surprise of the year that we have lovingly titled the I Was Wrong Award. Not always about something you were wrong about. And gosh, let me tell you, listener, I could talk about a number of surprises I've had this year, but we'll keep that off the podcast. One of them being Tinder works really well, after a fashion. But no, my surprise of the year was Solo, A Star Wars Story. This is why I didn't go into it in more detail earlier, but I had an amazing time in the theater, and I was not expecting to have that ride. It was fun. It was fun like you know when you see those sweet videos of like a grandma in VR, and she's like, "Whoa, oh my God, everything's amazing." That's how I felt. And I don't know where that came from or how to ever replicate it again. But fuck you, thank you, Solo.
if you could bottle that, I would buy me some.
Shit, yes.
My 2018 I Was Wrong award it's almost a tie, but at the end of the day, one wins and one's an honorable mention. We'll go with the honorable mention first. Honorable mention goes to Dark Souls. I was wrong. I fully take it, Internet. I was wrong.
You heard it here again.
It's not a bad game. It's a good game. It's not a perfect game. I still have issues with it.
Sure, so do I.
But it's a good game. Damn it. I don't like being wrong. The winner, though, and this is why it wins, is a time I am fucking wonderfully happy to have been wrong. Dad of Light was amazing.
Oh, how nice.
I shit on this constantly in the run-up to us watching it. I absolutely roasted Spork for having this on his Netflix list because it looked awful. I was so unbelievably wrong about this show. This was heartwarming, and I'm not a nice person, so that's means something when I say that.
I think that's good. You can definitely hear more about that in our Dad of Light podcast.
But yeah, I'm not going to. We did a whole fucking podcast.
Yeah, I mean the same thing with like Solo and only I do the podcast on that. But Yeah, most of the stuff we talk about here, we've done podcasts on. This is actually, I never really thought of it this way, but this is a great actual year in review of our shit because y'all can just go back and see more details about all the things we're talking about.
Here's a fun fact about the podcast. If we ever have anything we have anything to talk about, we do a podcast on it because that's the only way you guys get podcasts.
And hence Steam releases. Which this is the year we actually decided to take a little bit more seriously. I think it played out well. But let's move into the next category, if you're willing.
Yeah, of course.
What was your favorite activity, or more accurately, the thing you did the most this year?
Honestly, YouTube.
You have done a lot of the YouTube.
I watched a fuckload of YouTube this year. I watched a bunch of different creators and a bunch of different sections of YouTube. I discovered entire channels. Entire genres of channel I didn't know existed.
Like every 2 weeks, pretty much, you'd be like, "I've discovered this new channel." Where I don't know why you are the voice I'm doing, but you're not. Clearly, everyone can hear you. Anyway,
I have a high, annoying nasal voice, and I have no idea how any of you stand.
I've discovered this new channel where a man will take a bean and he will turn that bean into an electromagnet and then kill things with it.
Like
progressively larger things every episode.
Until the bean no longer works, then he goes to a bigger bean.
Is that a channel?
You know what? It might be.
Sean and the Bean?
You know what? That's essentially just Red Hot Nickel Ball.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know what happened, but this year, despite all of the troubles and tribulations YouTube's had as a platform, and it has had some, ladies and gentlemen, I found so many creators who gave me so many hours of joy, so much so that I don't want to shout anyone out specifically because I'm going to be leaving dozens out.
See, that explains why I haven't been watching more YouTube, because you have.
Yeah.
We can never do the same thing at the same time.
No, that's not how it works.
Actually, that's a fucking lie, because of what I've been doing the most this year has been role-playing and role-playing accessories. This is the year I have worked consistently the hardest on my Cult Regan RPG. Didn't hit that end goal of December 2018, but early 2019 I should be finished with it. Not that you guys get to see it, I need art, but it'll be done and I can move on to something else. And beyond that, we have roleplayed so much this year.
We really have. YouTube only edges it out by like a hair, but for months now, we've been running 2 to 3 games a week.
This whole year, we have averaged 2 games a week.
Yeah, and because role-playing is my favorite hobby, full stop, it has been a wonderful situation.
Yeah, this has just been, I felt that it's been a renaissance for me, for the thing I probably love doing the most. It's been fantastic. You wanna move right along to Anthem of the Year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I am going to be flat out. There's a lot of songs that were very important to me this year, but none that kind of codify the year in its entirety. For that, I'm going to go with TWRP, as they prefer to be called these days, Rock and Roll Best Friends. If you know the song, you got it.
I'm going to do a similar thing from a similar place. This is a song I didn't hear until relatively late in the year, but I absolutely know for a fact that it's the song I've listened to the most since I heard it. And that is Not Afraid by Planet Booty.
You know, that was honestly one of the things I was considering, and TWRP is the same thing, because obviously I listened to this in the run-up to the concert, and you heard that song at the concert, yeah?
Yeah.
Which we did a podcast about that as well.
Yeah, we absolutely did a podcast about it. I love Ninja Sex Party. TWRP is great, but that song hit me like a truck. Yeah,
it really, and it's powerful. Even Das Booty, or Das Booty, if you want to be very
Das Booty is fun.
It's fun. And Not Afraid is fantastic too. And there's a bunch of songs that have been like really iconic, and from those 3 bands especially. But like you said, the one you've probably listened to the most since, Rock and Roll Best Friends, is probably the one I've listened to the most since. If I get off of work and I've had kind of a crappy day, I want to tune back into a good mood, bam, I throw on TWRP, and usually starting with that song.
If you know this song, or if you go listen to this song, it will not be hard for you to tell when I listen to this song.
Yeah, you know. So, and I would recommend listening to Planet Booty in general. They have made a fan for life out of me, unless they do something catastrophic, which
doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely, but we live in 2019 now. Let's be real.
Happy podcast. Moving on.
Gotta celebrate that booty. This is the last actual category, and you're sitting there. I can look at you. I can see you. Your eyes as they flash down to the little red bar on your phone or on your home computing device or perhaps Xbox. And if it is, I'm so sorry because we sound terrible through a console. It's not at the end yet. Are they going to talk that long about what their podcast of the year was? No.
No, we're not that much of a narcissist.
I told you there's a surprise. Shh.
Okay, well, that was weird.
Podcast of the year. What was your favorite podcast that we did this year?
I'm going to do my honorable mentions first because we have the same thing for our favorite podcast.
Oh, good us.
My honorable mention is BoJack of the Old Republic, winner for best ridiculous meme that I forced White to make into the little thumbnail. I made him do it.
My honorable mention is Step by Steam releases featuring Ben.
Yeah, our new roommate.
Who is diligently cleaning things in the background, as I'm sure you can hear.
Yeah.
But actually, this is really interesting because last year's podcast, for 2017 year in review, is the first time Ben is mentioned abstractly on the podcast.
Hey, that's actually super neat.
Isn't it just? But I really liked the energy of Step by Steam releases. It accomplished both us actually, talking about Steam releases and fun interludes featuring unexpected special guests. So, yeah, that was a good honorable mention for me. But please, you do the honors since it is technically yours to open.
We both cheated, ladies and gentlemen, because for our favorite podcast of ours for 2018, and I think I know my reason, and I don't imagine White's is that different. We both picked 3 podcasts. Because they're podcasts that we recorded basically at the same time. I believe we recorded them all at once.
One we did, and then the other 2 we did at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. They are the 3 podcasts I refer to as the Taste Profile series because that's the name of the text document that I made for them. And that's the 5 films, games, and TV shows that define us. The stuff that, as we ended up codifying it, not our favorite stuff, although some of it is, so much as the things you need to watch if you want to know who we are. Like the things that will get you into our brains the best.
And the fun thing is, that's something that's kind of in a constant state of semi-flux. 5 keeps it from being too crazy, so it's not like we're going to revisit that podcast again this year.
No.
But, theoretically, we could 3 years from now, and it would be... It
might be
have some
different.
different entries on there. Yeah. Yeah, I had the same thing for the same reason, and they were all linked together because they're inexorable. They're all little pieces of us, and... honestly, I feel like those 3 podcasts are the best jumping on point for this show.
Agreed, yeah. And
certainly not our first podcast. Please never listen to
Never listen to that.
Listen to the one where I talk about the Magic Carp blowjob before you listen to that.
I can't listen to that.
We tried. There's proof. Okay, so you may notice something. That was only 8 things. There's usually 9. We discontinued the favorite wrestling event.
Because for most of the year, we didn't really watch professional wrestling.
There's a couple of events we both thought of that were really good, and we did podcasts on them, so...
But at the end of the day, it didn't feel fair to have a favorite wrestling event when I didn't watch pro wrestling for most of the year.
Same.
That's giving short shrift to a lot of really hard work.
Yeah.
Put in by the talent and probably just the talent of the WWE and the talent and writers and other staff of other wrestling promotions.
Yeah. But we did want to fill timing talk about... I say fill time. We've got like a minute and a half here.
Yeah, we could vamp on nothing for 2 minutes.
Yeah, we could.
We wanted to do this.
Yeah, I think it should be a regular thing, and this one's going to be a little bit bigger because...
we didn't before.
Yeah, we didn't before.
We're replacing the 9th category with this. Haha.
Unless we like wrestling again later.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I'd like that. That'd be great for me. But just looking back on what we picked in the previous 2 years, I know we have other year in review podcasts. The first 2 were just us rambling. There were no categories. There were no awards. And you guys should be receiving, the winners, your hand-carved statues in the mail. If you don't get them, like and subscribe and then comment on this video. And you have to do it exactly like that. Otherwise, I can't get in touch with you about your statues that I'm totally going to give you.
Yeah, what are you gonna fucking do if one of them actually contacts you?
I will hand carve a fucking statue.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So our favorite video games. Let's start with 2016 and then go to 2017.
Yeah, we're gonna basically. The idea is to look at what we said back then and then see where we're at with that thing now.
Yeah. 2016, we said Overwatch.
Both of us. Ooh, I don't really play Overwatch anymore, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, you specifically said, because I listened to this podcast, you just spent an hour getting your ass kicked and it didn't win once in 1v1s and had a great time. And I laughed as I listened and went, that changed.
That changed. That changed. I don't play Overwatch anymore. I'll jump in occasionally for a holiday event or to play some random matches if I've got time to kill on a weekend or whatever, but I have many video games I like more to play, so no thank you.
I still play it on the holidays, sometimes not on holidays. It's still fun, I just also have other games to play and other things to do. I've been very busy this year.
It's been a good year.
Yeah, it has been a good year. 2017, yours was Path of Exile.
Yeah, I burned out on Path of Exile.
Yeah, I got my better computer and was like, should I install Path of Exile? And you were like, don't.
I burned out. I knew I was gonna. I knew what was gonna happen when I first started playing the game. I could tell. I could see. But I got plenty of fun out of it. It's a super fun game. But I just got to the point where I could continue playing if I was willing to make it the thing that I did. And I'm not. So I let it go. It's still fun. It's still Diablo. I still like it. But to go any further than I went, I would have to make it the thing I do to get good enough at it and to get good enough on builds and stuff. Path of Exile would have to be my pastime, and I learned from World of Warcraft. That's not a thing I intend to do anymore.
We mentioned it already a lot, but my game of 2017 was Dark Souls 3, and it could have been this year.
Yeah, look, I don't like saying this out loud. Dark Souls 3 was on my short list for this year.
It was a fantastic game.
It's just a really good fucking video game.
Favorite movie in 2016, we both agreed Captain America Civil War.
There wasn't really any other option. It's even years on, it's still maybe top 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
I'm such a different person. Man, well,
yeah.
I am such a different person from who I was years ago that, people keep asking me things like, hey, what's your favorite movie, man? Or, what's your favorite this or that? And I'm like, well, last time I checked, it was this. And they give me that look, and I'm like, I really need to reevaluate some of that stuff. Because I don't know anymore.
I love so many movies that I've seen since then. Captain America Civil War was never going to be my favorite movie of all time, but of the movies that came out in 2016, I still think it's pretty much the undisputed champ.
Yeah, that we saw.
Yeah,
those are our rules.
I mean, that did come out in 2016, but
right. And that's the fun thing about these. We actually keep picking films that did come out that year. But 2017, I had The Last Jedi. Let's not get into that again. I still love it. You had?
Yeah, it's probably for the best. Happy podcast. I had Logan. I haven't seen Logan again. I don't know that I will, because I don't know anyone in my life who should watch Logan. It's a fucking tragedy in the most operatic, amazing sense. It is the best Western movie I've seen in the last 10 years. It deserved awards, and that it didn't win more, because I think it won some, is a travesty.
I still haven't seen it, but it is on my long list. It's not on my short list. I have other movies, other X-Men movies to watch before then. But favorite TV and or web show of 2016. This was really interesting, I thought, just because of what we chose. Mine was Guru Larry's Fact Hunt, which is funny because I mentioned Slope's Game Room very briefly in that, and I barely ever watch Guru Larry anymore. I am all about Slope's Game Room. He does interesting retrospectives on like oddball franchises and deep dives into people scamming through crowdfunding websites. Very interesting how that turned out. Yours was Philip DeFranco, who I lovingly referred to as Blue Room Newsman.
His room isn't blue anymore.
No, I think that's why you stopped watching.
No. I stopped watching because the news got too depressing. Moving on.
Yeah. 2017, hey, we liked The Orville, and I remembered Hulu exists, so we can catch up on The Orville.
Hey, yeah, we can. It's fun Star Wars. It's good Star Wars. Star Trek. I don't know why I said Star Wars twice.
I think I know why. I think I know why you said Star Wars twice.
I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. You said to let it go. But yeah, it's just fun Star Trek. It's good Star Trek.
Yeah.
I like Star Trek, so yeah, I still like it.
Yeah. Favorite RPG character you played 2016? You said Lenny.
Yes. Leonardo, I forget his last name. Something else with an L. I think Lenore or something. Something Italian. A fun character.
Mine was Beelzebub, who, as I listened to the podcast, was described as if Jimmy Hart and the $1 Million Man had a baby, but because they're both boys and cannot genetically create offspring, they had to sell their soul to Satan to do it, so they got a weird Satan baby.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then 2017, I said Kirilo, because I was doing a lot of gaming at shops at that point, and he was a cool druid, flirty merman.
And I said Static, because this mensch here was wonderful enough to run me a solo game where I got to play a character who I have deep fondness for, so yeah.
And much like me with Quentin there, of your version of that character, too.
Yep. Not the same guy.
No. All right, the surprise of the year in 2016, mine was Rogue One. I perhaps in 2019 should stop being surprised by decent Star Wars films. Yours?
Mine in 2017
2016.
Oh, 2016, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Was wrestling. It was Kalisto versus Baron Corbin. Kaliston versus Baron Corbin.
I live in a world where Kaliston is his full name now.
Kalisto, Link, Mario, and Luigi Mario. Yes. No, Kalisto versus Baron Corbin. I remember going, oh my god, this is gonna be terrible, and then it was fucking amazing, and I had to eat crow about it.
Their chairs match. 2017, surprise of the year for me, the TMNT DLC for fucking Injustice 2. Honorable mentions of Mega Man 11 being announced and Dark Souls being good.
Yeah, that was your... Dark Souls was your I was wrong award for 2017. Mine was Turbo Kid, because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, again, this is a movie that I shat on.
You're very judgy about my taste in things and then
you
wrong about it. Contrary to me being really judgy about your taste in things and being right about it.
No. I
Please defend iBoy. It was a fine movie.
But 2019, be less judgy about White's taste in movies, because he's gotten me 2 years in a row now.
All right, so what does that mean about The Runaways?
I said movies. I said movies.
Dad of Light was a show.
No!
2016, your favorite activity or the thing you did most, because every year it's role-playing, that's no fun, was audiobooks and podcasts.
Yep.
Do you still do those?
Yeah, I still listen to a bunch of podcasts.
Cool.
Less than I did. There's still... Basically, it's become the thing I do to and from work when I go to work. And the thing I do, like, in downtime when I'm doing housework, where I have to be up. I'm out of audiobooks that I feel like reading, is to say listening to at the moment. So it's just podcasts right now, but... If
you were to watch anybody literally on the internet who has an internet show, they'd be happy to tell you about a free subscription to Audible you can get with the code of their name a book to recommend.
Hey, they're not fucking paying us, okay? Move along.
I ain't got a code. Give me a code. In 2016, the thing I did the most was Brave Exvius, and it was the year after that as well. It was just an honorable mention because I didn't want to repeat. I quit a month ago, because for most of 2018, I was just going through the motions on it. So, that happened.
Parallels, but we're moving on. Let's see. So, for 2017...
I caught up to your joke. And I like it.
For 2017, the thing I did the most was Quest Threads. With honorable mention for podcasts.
2017, the thing I did most was Dark Souls, and because I grouped role-playing and role-playing accessories together this year, the answer was not again Dark Souls.
I love it when I can role-play a bunch, but I try and pick something that isn't role-playing for this list.
Sure. I respect that. But this year it got to be, and I feel like that deserves mention.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Anthem of the Year. In 2016, you picked the Mega's Melody from the Past. In 2017, you would have as well, but you decided against it for, similar reasons. 2016, I picked DNCE, Cake by the Ocean. I still think that's a jammin' fun song. Suck it. I'm flipping you off, Ultimo Dragon. What are you going to do about it? Come to my house and fight me? That would be cool. Can I have an autograph while you're here? And maybe a hug.
The fight can happen, too.
Yeah, that's fine. I kick my ass. I don't care. I kick my own ass. Who cares? I'm a weird guy. 2017, you enjoyed the Tekanina.
Yes. Demons is a really good song. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, I'm not going to lie, I picked it mostly because I didn't want to pick Melody from the Past again, and that's why I really had to search for this year to try and find it. I love that fucking song. I love Melody from the Past a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I always want to try and pick a song that I love that isn't that. Because otherwise it would just, much like Dark Souls for you, it would just be the same thing on my list every year.
Yeah. I had 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars in 2017. So, I still dig that song too. And we're here. We're back. Well, let's do a wrestling event real quick, because let's close out on the good thing. 2016, we both said NXT TakeOver Dallas, which was a good event. 2017, we both said Survivor Series.
Best event that year.
Yeah, that was a great event. And now, the grand finale podcast of the year, the 2016 honorable mention was Pictures of Spider-Man, because that marked a turning point in what the fuck our podcast is.
Yeah.
But you said mobile gaming and Junior.
God, we've been doing this show a long time.
We have. The fact that was 2 years ago is like, whew. And I picked Nostalgia and the Coons. And then 2017, we both agreed on the Apocalypse Family album.
Yeah. If you notice something, our favorite podcast of the year, we talk a lot on this podcast about stuff. Like, we'll make a subject podcast. Like, we see a movie, we do a podcast on the movie. We watch a show, we do a podcast on the show. But our favorites are usually the ones that go a little bit off from that formula. They're usually the ones where we end up talking about something else. We end up riffing on something. Because that's what this podcast is. It's basically, me and him were friends for a long time, and we eventually decided that
other people deserve to hear how cool we are.
We have a lot of really, really interesting and funny conversations. Or at least we think we do. So we wanted to put them on the internet to see if anyone else agreed. And there's not many of you, but a couple of you seem to. And that's really important to me.
Yeah. So important that this is the third year in a row. The tradition has been kept that you have said exactly that. And it is a delight to hear him paraphrase the exact sentiment every single year. Because there are certain things that are unchangeably true. And to have that core through line about why we care about this podcast, why we sit here every week, even though we don't make any money and we barely have any views, that is consistent shows that we can still, for another year, do this podcast. Do you know something else that has remained unchanged?
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's go hardcore!